day, sir. Viewers, if you are watching, click on the like button, drop your comment, and also share this program to others. Now, UK, US might suspend Nigeria from the Commonwealth. Why? Because our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu tagged Ipob as a terrorist organization. What do you have to say about this?
It comes as a very surprise to destabilize the entire eastern Nigeria for coming out with that kind of statement. But a lot of people who have risen against that statement shows that IPOB is never a terrorist organization. Nigeria is just being manipulative with the reality on ground. Currently now, they have written to the Commonwealth Secretary General, who happens to be a Ghanaian, a former Ghanaian, Foreign Affairs Minister, Buchwe, Shelley has acknowledged that petition that written by Pan-African Institute to Commonwealth that action should be taken against the federal government, tagging IPOB as a terrorist organization, and this might actually lead, to a judicial execution of Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody. The Nigerian government has not been able to establish, any case against Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of people wonder how Bola Ahmed Tinubu, get to that decision of prejudicial trial of Nnamdi Kanu, and also sending a direct signal that is likely going to compromise the judicial process of releasing Nnamdi Kanu with that pronouncement. He has actually threatened that lives, should be lost and nothing will happen. It has been generating detentions globally. There is massive, unrest in the eastern part of the country, and the whole thing, everybody is coming in condemnation of that October speech by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which has also attracted the attention of UN agencies that put, Commonwealth nations, on alert over the violation. There are reasons why Commonwealth can, actually, suspend a member country, especially when it comes to, abuse of human rights, oppression and suppression, that like what we are witnessing today, where, the judiciary is not independent enough to be able to take a pronouncement on an issue that has to do with self-determination. All over the world, nobody has ever tagged IPOB as a terrorist organization. IPOB is being seen everywhere in the world. They are visible and they are not violent. So it has compromised the situation already on ground and causing more tension. I wonder how Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to go to the eastern part of the country, where he has actually labeled that region a terrorist organization, to seek for their votes. I do not know how he intends to achieve that. I do not know how you intend to use southeastern governors, to achieve that mission. So those who you label as a terrorist organization, but if you don't know the meaning of IPOB, let me properly put you on note, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that IPOB actually means the indigenous people of Biafra, comprising of the South and of course the Southeast. They are the Biafrans you are talking about that you labeled as a terrorist organization. Nigeria have a case to answer because, the suspension, the documents from what we are hearing has reportedly been, acknowledged by, the Commonwealth General, who happens to be a former minister in Ghana. Her name is Shelley, Buchwe, and he has put everybody on alert that if care is not taken, because the world is observing. The last time the Commonwealth suspended Nigeria was around maybe 1995, or during the case of Sarowiwa, until they finally returned to democratic rule, where that they were being acknowledged back as a member state. But now there's this massive violation of a total collapse of democratic principles, and these are the things that will likely lead to suspension, which has been documented properly and be presented to the Commonwealth. The consequences of this is that Nigeria will be disengaged, and of course from anything that has to do with a global engagement currently now, and that will go a little bit further to damage the process of trying to reunite with the international community. Quite condemnable. I don't know how he intends to achieve that, but a lot of people, the U.S. agency, human rights agency, have written to the congressmen currently now, and they are working on those documents. We don't know what they're going to come out with it at the end of the day. But while we are still talking about global condemnation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tag of Ipob as a terrorist organization, that means he is not likely going to go to the eastern part of the country to ask for their votes, because Ipob is an umbrella organization of all the indigenous people of Biafra, as enshrined in the United Nations Charter, which is not a crime. Self-determination has never been a crime, and everyone has come to identify with the reality that Nnamdi Kanu never associated with anything that has to do with knife or gun or whatever. What Nnamdi Kanu is talking about, that the Biafrans should be given a separate sovereignty for them to actually stand and defend the jihadist tendencies that is already enveloping the country. The Kwara section part of the country, a state in Nigeria, is already destabilized. Everybody is on the run, and where are they running to? Yes, where are they running to? They are running to Biafra land. The Benues are running to Biafra land. The Plateau people are running to Biafra land. So how do we? Because they felt that is where they are going to be protected, given the fact that over 500,000 Christians has been killed, and that's the only Christian region that you can talk about in Nigeria today that has not been able to embrace what we are seeing today. But the federal government, in alliance with their Arab countries and radical Muslims all over the world, has identified that region as a conquest region where they are going to actually establish whatever they are having in mind. But that should be a red line. But the direct message to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have severed the relationship between the Yorubas and the Igbos by that comment and by that broadcast that day. Is quite regrettable. It shows that we are taking the people for granted, and it might result to certain consequences. What we are expecting the federal government to do is to allow Nnamdi Kanu have his own fundamental right, access to whatever he wants. But unfortunately, that has been denied, signaling that the entire 85 million Igbos, Biafrans around the world, is currently under bondage. It might result to uncertainty, I can tell you that, because there is a bottled up anger in the eastern part of the country and all over the world concerning the decision of the Yoruba President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes, I call him Yoruba president because he has actually, shows that he's in alliance with Islamic tendencies in this country. I think he has not been hearing how these people are taking lives on daily basis. There's nowhere in the history where the kingdom or the progenitors of the Igbo race, have ever invaded any community, any place, anywhere in the world to, enslave them or carry out a kind of conquest. It is our fundamental right as enshrined. Unfortunately, we don't have United Nations. We do not have AU anymore. That is the reason why the Sahel nations are currently, positioning themselves for the reality on ground. Even though we are hearing, there are a lot of groundwork, that is ongoing, that another Nnamdi Kanu might likely emerge, and the world might not find it difficult if they continue to treat Nnamdi Kanu at that point, and he unfortunately loses his life. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Yoruba people and the Yoruba race, and of course Nigeria entirely, we know that actually they have severed whatever relationship and unity and alliance in the build-up of this calamity called Nigeria. It's very very unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of mess where the whole world seems to be silent over the reality. Let me give you a rundown of how this hatred of the Igbo started. I think in 1949, immediately after the Second World War, where the British government was actually looking for means to rebuild their nation as a result of the war, whatever that happened in the Second World War, maybe they lost a lot of things. No, they insisted that the most powerful resources as a data, which happened to be Enugu coal, let me put it that way, must be taken forcefully by the people, and the people were demanding, no, it cannot happen. There should be what they call resource control. That was the first massacre and hatred planted by the British government. Igbos were being killed. As at that time, I'm talking to you, the entire Ijaw nation is not up to 900,000 in population. Yes, 900,000 in population, and that is the only distinct group that were found in the Biafran territory. But that hatred continued and led to the British taking a particular decision on planting forces of destabilization, which are the Fulanis, and that was how the hatred actually continued up to this moment, because a lot of people are wondering, this thing that happened in Enugu in 1949 or thereabout, led also to Muslim Nigeria Christian Biafran war, and still today Igbos have been killed. I wonder why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is aligning with radicals, Muslims, to take a certain decision against the people. I don't know whether he's going to go to East and to go and ask them for election. They should vote for them. We are going to ask him, how come you are coming here? I thought you said we are a terrorist organization. We shouldn't have anything to do with you. I don't know how you intend to achieve that. I think there should be a reorientation and awakening of the Igbo people. Yes, I must commend Goodluck Jonathan for coming in with that statement concerning what actually transpired. That the Igbos has always supported their neighbors in all ramifications, and it is time for them to face the reality and reconcile with whatever they have. Yes, I am seeing Southeast going into a serious block to become one powerful region, that can stand any force. But currently now, that is what it is. Nnamdi Kanu must not die in DSS custody, and that's the direct message. And IPOB is never, I can never be a terrorist organization. And this is what we are talking about. It's only in Nigeria, government, the judiciary, that you can see this kind of a thing happen. IPOB members are all over the world, and none of them has been seen or in violent engagement. So I want to inform the council of the Commonwealth to look into this abuse and call the Nigerian government to order before anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu, because it will be quite unfortunate if Nnamdi Kanu loses his life.
Okay, viewers, if you are still watching, make sure you click on the like button, drop your comment and share this program. Have a nice day.